Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's just turned 7 o'clock, so let's make a start. Before we start, I'd just like to introduce Andrew Clerk. He's the Deputy Councillor for Brentford Council. He's going to be taking proceedings tonight. Can everybody hear me?
No.
Can everybody hear me now? Okay, you are hereby summoned to attend the meeting of the Leisure and Recreation Committee of Hemsworth Town Council to be held in the Council Chamber. Hemsworth Town Council Community Centre, Bullenshaw Road, Hemsworth, commences at 7 p.m. on Thursday the 3rd of November 2022 for the purposes of transacting the following businesses. Before I start, I'd just like to make a statement, if that's okay with everybody. It's a pity some of the other councils aren't here. That's how it is. So, before I start the question time, I'd just like to say a few things before I continue. I must say that I do have permission from the people I'm speaking about to mention their names, but they've asked me, but after seeking other advice, I've decided not to mention their names, just in case it will jeopardise any future investigations. Last night I was contacted by a hard-working member of staff who works very hard for the people of this parish. She had sent me a screenshot of a post from a fake profile, the same fake profile that has recently abused and accused some councillors, another hard-working member of staff, his mother, and even an 11-year-old child on their Facebook page. The photo on that Facebook page was removed as an invasion of a child's privacy, but yet this fake profile still continues to post. I'll read the post in question. Fetish, you do tell lies. The council office, Hemsworth, is coming unstuck. You nearly got it right. Still no leaflets, still no police. Office staff has a link to the firm. Relative, did you not know you are trying to blame someone else who do you think pick suppliers or contractors? The people that work in that office, more to follow, especially about a recent food shop they did. Then there is the word naughty, the person's initials, and then a pig emoji. Just to clear up the accusations made, the food order was for sandwiches, etc., that were ordered for the Jubilee Cream Tea event. Help was requested from within the council, but due to the Jubilee event the next day, they were obviously very, very busy and they didn't have the time. So they used Ocado, where they got a discount. As I said, the last comment, the initials, followed by the emoji of a pig, just shows their immaturity and the level of intelligence that these people are working at. I've emailed the clerk to investigate this immediately and to look into the similarities of accusations from other fake profiles and emails that have been received. Could I add that these fake profiles go on about openness and transparency, but yet hide behind false names, and while they are busy scoring points of each other, they are abusing, insulting, accusing, and harming the very staff that go above and beyond to help the people of this parish. These people, and this is all people on fake profiles, keep saying this area is a laughing stock. They are contributing to it, and it must stop now. We are looking into thinking of getting the police involved. It is that serious of an incident. The staff should not be taking the abuse that they are taking on fake profiles. So to move on with today's agenda, so apologies for the absences.
Councillors Hardaker and Wilson.
Any declarations of interest?
I've seen one.
So item 3, public question time. I will start in 15 minutes or so from now, if anybody has any questions. So,
Thornhill. I know it isn't relevant to some of the questions on here. due to the seriousness of it, I think it needs to be addressed in this meeting. I understand that a breach of GDPR has been broken with not just one resident, but a number. Can you tell me, has that happened? Has the parishioners that it involves been made aware of that? And have you referred yourself to the IMO?
I can say it has happened, or we believe it should happen. I believe, I cannot say for sure, that the parishioners have been informed.
Yeah, they have. So I've
All of them?
Yes,
As
I've
far-
informed them.
As far as I'm aware. I
I
can't say.
informed them.
As for report to the ICO, I can't answer that. But there is a meeting next week on that similar sort of matter on I can't come up with the reasons why that happened and the way the council is going forward. A meeting was called by yourself, Councillor Hurd and Councillor Morton, that yeah.
I know that Alan isn't in the office because I've actually sent a number of emails that have just come back saying he's not in the office until tomorrow. In one of my emails, I've actually asked if, seeing as you're the deputy clerk, and because I consider this to be quite important, that you should be CC'd in any emails that come in for Alan, so that if you consider them to be that important, you can respond. So that's something that I am concerned that if my data has been breached, I need to know, because I know that if my data has been breached, then I have got 72 hours to make people aware, and that is what it tells you. I feel so strongly about it that I will probably be coming in tomorrow if Alan is back, because I need to know if my data has been breached. Because anything that I send to Mr. Draper, and we probably all know what it involves, then I specifically I said he couldn't use my information. So if it has been breached, then I'll tell you now, then people will be involved.
I don't think it is yours, but I mean, Councilman was going to.
Yeah, I think so. There was information shared among councillors that we've seen. We reported immediately to Alan and have asked him to report it to the ICO.
It has gone to monitoring
and the monitoring office as well. So that's been reported by us, by Maxine to the monitor office. As far as the ICO advice goes, I think we need to let Alan answer that question, because it's not fair on Andrew, he weren't involved. And I'd like Alan to answer where it's got from there. We can't really speak on his behalf.
Well, just shocking.
Lyn, do you want to ask a question first? I'll come back to you in a second.
Yeah, the answer's probably going to be yes, because you do the same walk I do every day. But my question is Keepmoat still paying rent for the space in front of the allotments on Sandygate? Because that site is an absolute mess, and it's also no longer secure because a load of the Harris fencing has mysteriously vanished.
So
It's only a question of time before we get either some sort of a health and safety incident, or we end up with idiots up there nicking bricks and chucking them at cars and whatever, because anybody can walk on there now. It is an absolute mess.
So as for the mess and it being there in general, I have reported that to Alan, and I know he has been in touch with Keepmoat. Where he's with that, I don't know, but I have mentioned it to him. As for paying, do you want anything?
Yes, they were, I believe, up until the end of October, which should have been when they vacated it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, it's shocking, shockingly bad.
On that note,
Put it on to Alan tomorrow and get
Yeah.
chased up.
on that note, can we add Horsfield and Fitzwilliam? I forgot what to call it because everybody's dumping there. Would you be able to get in touch with Wakefield and get it all moved? Sorry. What's it
Oh,
called?
Farm Lane,
Farm Lane.
That's it.
yeah, it's not the Arsefield, it's something that's just.
It's where
on
they're,
that,
yeah,
But
they're
it's
doing
just
that
like
Roman
digging
digging
Okay.
thing.
So there's nothing there?
Yeah, I'd like to go back to the issue of confidentiality. Yeah, mine is one of the statements that has been shared without my permission. I am allowed to say that, we checked the Wakefield.
That's fine.
Right. There is an ongoing investigation. We've been told that we're limited in what we can say at this point for obvious reasons. But I would like to ask how seriously the council treats confidentiality. That's one question. Secondly, what training the council has received with respect to confidentiality. And thirdly, what sanctions are available for responding to breaches of confidentiality. And fourth, why is there only a handful of councillors here today when it were obvious that this issue would be raised?
As for councillors not being here, I cannot answer that.
Well, we've had apologies for 2 councillors, but not for the rest.
Again, I can't answer when councillors not attended. Councillor Heard wanted to answer your
I
your
just
other
want
points.
to make you all aware that this isn't the first time we've been seriously breached before, us councillors. Seemingly, seems to be getting done, but this may, by the looks of it, put a stop. It's put a stop it now. Yes,
If
from
my data's being breached, then people better have deep pockets.
I do believe this is going to be the icing on the cake for us because, like I said, we've constantly had a data protection breach.
Can I just start by
We are,
You can find.
do what-
Fine, it'll be us, won't it?
No, you can actually find.
Individual.
No, it's
Every person.
the individual person, so it's not the council.
But what will council do about them people that are doing it? Will there still be
That's the
councillors?
problem we have got. We cannot do anything.
So,
And even if you look at monitoring officer, there's only so much she can do because it's all been taken off us. But if this goes to court and these get found guilty, you can go to police and then you can get them, if they get a criminal record, that's them off the council.
Can I
And
ask?
also, if
yeah,
all
but,
this is
yeah, but
published,
I'm not being funny,
they might
but you've
get
got
booked
one of
off.
them councillors that's not here today, and I'm an ex-police officer, right, and I know for the fact, he's got one, so why is he on here?
Because it's
Public
it's the land.
You know what I mean?
Would you like to go back in, please?
Yeah, I'd like to add that at the end of the day, we were approached by this council to provide statements. We didn't actually come forward as complainants, right? And in all honesty, I know that my statement wasn't of an incendiary nature, right? But that's not the point. The point is we were guaranteed confidentiality. These statements should have gone to a panel and only the members of the panel should have had sight,
They've
right?
shared it.
At this
The
sta-
panel
at that
has shared
stage.
it, the panel has shared it, we know who's done it.
Now, my data, if you want to call it my data, my name and probably my address, right, has been spoken about in pubs in God knows where, right, and actually the maximum amount of fine for a breach of GDPR is £10 million if I'm not incorrect, because I trained under GDPR as well, right. Now, I'm appalled at it. It just, it shows total contempt for community members.
If you saw the stuff what have been breached for us,
So,
and now,
Julie, come there, because obviously Julie.
Can I just stand up?
Yeah.
Can I just let everybody know what the situation is? I have spoke to Gillian Marshall, who's actually the Chief Legal Advisor for the Monitoring Office. Can I make parishioners that's at home watching on Zoom, thank you Lynn, you're going to be doing a great service to the community. They need to know what had happened from this council, from certain members on a panel, from certain people that have done it. Maybe one of the councillors is sat here tonight that's done it. They know they've done it, but also the most important is we know they've done it, and the monitoring office know they've done it. So just to let people know, if you're in any doubt that you have sent statements that you thought were confidential to the HTC town clerk, Mr. Draper, please can you not send any more statements to him and do them direct to Gillian Marshall, Wakefield Met, Chief Legal Officer for the Monitoring Office. She will speak to you, a mobile phone number is available. We know there are up to a dozen people's confidentiality that has been breached, that were asked voluntarily to give statements about what's been going on, and these confidential statements have been breached. They have been shared from one panel member to someone else who has read everybody's confidential data, and it's been shared with members of the public. Not acceptable. It's not going to be acceptable. You know who's done it. And the monitoring officer, there is going to be action taken. We have seen District Councillor Melanie Jones also today. We have been in touch with the MP John Trickett. There's quite a lot going on behind the scenes, and as David and I've explained, we're not allowed to say too much at this stage. But as a parishioner watching on Zoom, and as people sat here, if you're in any doubt that your confidentiality by members of this council have been breached, you need to take action. And your first part of call, you need to do it not via here, via the monitoring office. And Andrew, as the deputy clerk, knows about the situation because we've already had a meeting, 2 or 3 meetings here, and Andrew was asked to sit in on that meeting. Am I right, Andrew?
On one of those meetings.
On one of those meetings, yes. So the deputy, although he's new to the position, and I'm sorry that you think this is falling on you, Andrew, you are in the loop, sort of thing. That's why I asked you to be present at that meeting.
I will put address on Facebook.
Thank you, Councillor Hurd. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You need the number. If you're in any doubt of any statements that you have sent here and your confidentiality has been breached, it's totally and utterly unacceptable, and action needs to be and will be taken. Thank you.
Well, I've actually turned around and said before to Alan, as a council, you have got a duty of care for every parishioner that is attending these meetings.
I totally agree, and I cannot disagree with anything that has been said, and I think you've got people here who all totally agree with you. It has been reported as soon as we, I mean, there were 3 or 4, 5, 6 of all, we emailed them, we got on saying, this is GDPR, this is a breach of GDPR, all that sort of stuff. And like I say, that I do hope and pray that it does get the investigation that it actually does deserve. Like yourselves, I've done GDPR work. Going back to one of the answers, there is courses that are sent through. If a councillor decides not to take that or to take that, is up to the councillor. I know some have done it, some haven't. It's yeah, I don't disagree with.
And what about the sanctions?
I don't know of any sanctions. I don't know what sanctions can be taken, but I can assure you that I will be looking for the hardest sanction that we can possibly. I would be voting for the hardest sanction that we could possibly give, because it shouldn't have come out. It's disgusting, but it has come out, and it was common sense. It shouldn't be like that. Forget GDPR.
It shouldn't have come out when we were actually approached.
Yeah,
right?
as well.
We didn't come forward. We were contacted and asked to provide statements.
It's wrong. It's totally wrong, and I cannot apologise enough. And all I can say is what I've just said. I hope it gets investigated correctly. Hope external bodies investigate it correctly, and that the strictest sanctions that are possible are vetted out for the people responsible.
The maximum fine is 10.
Maximum, whatever it is.
It's not for this.
Very nice. Go on, Vicky.
Could you not make so like we know this council seats are up next May, but could there not be something written into like the code of conduct for councillors that they do sit GDPR training, because it's serious.
I'm not sure if this council could do that on its own, but our rules are set out by the government, not by
I think
council.
it's the NL
Now,
Now, Kinte. So there are loads of courses available. I've been on them.
There's
Yeah.
loads of
Whenever
online
there's a
things
breach,
going on.
whenever there's been breaches,
I think
we've been told we've had to go on
Yeah,
courses.
it's been offered to us.
Yes, we've had these courses, they've been on courses. In fact, we went on a course and I got my data protection actually breached on that course. If you remember,
yeah, you did.
that's what kind of thing we're putting up with.
What I find ironic,
And now we're coming in
right,
with council,
Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
what I
It's
find ironic,
actually on the course in front of the
Yeah.
trainers.
You just
It's
can't
like,
trust any of them.
Can we
when
just
they
have
say
one
good morning.
conversation, please?
what I find ironic is in the profession that I was in, right, until I retired, if I'd have breached confidentiality, I could have expected a disciplinary, right, with quite severe sanctions, right, irrespective of any financial sanctions. That's what would have happened. So what I'm asking you is, if it's proven that there has been a breach of confidentiality, is there anything akin to that process where the town council is concerned?
It's an interesting one because as far as local parishes are concerned, they aren't sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, reportable or whatever it is. They don't report to anyone. So, for example, when I run as part of the Labour Party, and I should imagine that if this was me that had breached this data protection, I would get quite a telling off from the Labour Party and probably have, my membership removed.
Yeah.
As I just put in place. That's not in place as far as I'm aware. I know it's not if you run as an independent. As far as sanctions are concerned, the monitoring office can, I understand, advise the council on what to do. We can, as a council, raise no confidence motions in individual councillors,
Some off committees.
and we can remove them from committees, stuff like that. So thank you. But as far as sanctions are concerned, I don't think there is any. I don't think that's terms of town council only. I think that's
You can as a business, if a business,
As a business,
as a
yeah.
business, it isn't just a business, it's also groups. I've looked at this, it's groups, it's individuals.
as far as the sanctions are concerned,
Yeah.
from fines and things like that. But as far as what we can do as a councillor, can we remove someone from the council? No, we can't.
Can the monitoring officer?
No.
No.
The monitoring officer.
It's not the answers you want to hear, but that's just how it is, and that's countrywide.
Right.
If this was a member of staff, yes, we could. If it's not, no, we can't. Well, it seems to be no, we can't.
Well, in that case,
Which is not right, but these are the rules that we are having, we abide by. We don't agree with these rules. We believe the monitoring officer should be able to have some power. Sadly, it was David Cameron's big society that brought all this in, where there's no power.
but my email went into Alan, and he's an employee.
He's an employee, but I don't know what but if your email was intended for a panel, Alan is quite within his rights to pass that on to the panel.
No, my email was to Alan, and he then wrote to me and said, could he pass this information on? And it was 2 people, and I specifically said no, because my email would identify myself, which would open me up to harassment and intimidation.
As far as I'm aware, all I can say is, as far as I am aware, yours has not been breached.
So she should not be getting it.
The panel has seen all these emails.
Yes.
I'll
If
state
the
that.
permission was given.
The panel hasn't seen every statement.
So have you seen
You haven't seen
mine?
every statement.
Yes, because I'm on the panel.
And then did you give permission to the panel, Gavin?
No, I didn't. I was never wrote.
Just reach
I was never asked if my email could go to a panel.
Have you actually got, how many emails have you got?
To
I
the
was
best of my
never
knowledge,
asked
I've got
if
all
my
the emails.
information could go in front of the panel.
You need to pick that one up and.
So it's all,
Yeah.
Kathy's
About all them
thought
that
of saying.
come to me.
That's all.
That's not to do with that.
No, that's different.
We will pick that one up.
Please, if you better let me know by
Yes.
tomorrow, because I will be getting in touch with my solicitor.
Yeah.
Good luck.
If my information has been breached, because I've got everything saying that I have not given permission for my information to be shared.
We agree. If that's the case.
If it's been shared and you've said no, then we'll look into it.
Yeah, we definitely.
All the emails that come from the town clerk when you were if you could help with an investigation about this panel, the town clerk's already breached several things on confidentiality by naming the people that were on the panel.
Just to let you know, when it comes to giving statements, the person who you're giving the statements about has to see them statements. You do not.
And
Have to let that person see your
I
statements.
was asked that, and I said
Well, that person
no.
already knows,
I did
Maxine.
not
I know,
give my
but I'm just
permission.
making everybody know if that's been done, then it's wrong.
That person already knows because that person is one of the people who was informed what were in the statements.
Yeah.
I haven't got a problem saying what were in my statements, but I want to do so, and when the investigation's completed.
Again, we can only agree, and we will. I know members here today are treating this very seriously. Again, that's why an extraordinary meeting has been called
We can only
for
apologise.
next week. We can only apologise on behalf of
It's not in down to us.
The thing is, here, Maxine, if it has been breached, as you said, and Kathy does go to a solicitor, does she take them to council, or does she take the individual?
I believe she should.
Is it the individuals we take, or is it?
No, I'll be taking
Oh,
everybody.
And then ends of council should be taking the individuals.
But there is a slight problem. When we provided the statements, we knew that these statements would be sent on to a panel.
No, I wasn't.
Well, we did, right,
No,
at the time.
I wrote in to make a complaint the next morning.
Yes.
I made a complaint regarding 2 people. I was asked whether that could be forwarded on to one person, which I said no, and told them what they should do, what Alan should have done. And then I got an email to say, could my email be sent on to someone else? And I said no, due to the fact that that would identify me and open me up to intimidation and abuse. So I've said it probably in 4 emails.
Can I just say,
Yeah.
Can I just ask one thing? Councillor McGuinness, thank you so much. We know and appreciate you've just said you're on the panel. Is any other members, councillors, you sat here, willing to admit that they're on that panel? Thank you, Councillor Dodson. Thank you. I know there's another member. Is that other member? So Councillor Hurst, you were on that. So you've been privy to all information. You've seen all the statements.
I'm not going to talk about the investigation.
No, I thought you probably wouldn't do. Thank you. That's all you need to say.
You can't talk about that.
So, ladies and gents, I'd like to move on now. I think we've discussed a lot. Quickly.
Right, seeing as how we know for a fact we own Kingsley Memorial, can we get it cleaned up, ready for Remembrance Sunday, please? It's not been done yet.
So we need to
I've seen some of the workers down there last week.
It's not been done yet.
They
So-
were doing something with the bench in front of it, weren't they? What that's what I was thinking.
Have we finished with the questions or not? Because I want to raise a question about these leaflets that were supposed to have been on newsletters, thank you, that were supposed to be sent out to members of the community, right? And apparently, the company that actually was supposed to distribute it are not answering telephone calls, they're not responding, they've not sent the money back that Emsworth Town Council paid for this service. And now we're understanding that this money, which is actually our money, is going to be written off.
And it's more money than we were told, I understand, David.
Oh, so to answer that question, no, the money isn't going to be written off. We are going to pursue the company.
You are going to pursue
We are
it.
going to pursue it.
That's not what we were told originally.
We're no longer using that company. We're no longer expecting that company to deliver any outstanding leaflets. and we've come to the conclusion that's just not going to happen.
Are they going to issue a full
Are they
refund?
going to give you the refund?
We're going to sue them for it, for a full refund.
Who actually pick the companies to deliver it?
That's an interesting question.
As a council, why didn't, who picked them? Who said this company's got to deliver
I
them?
think it was actually picked out of good faith towards
I think
it.
it was, yeah.
It wasn't,
It's done in,
I'm not
done in good faith.
gonna name names because it's upsetting, but it wasn't done maliciously, and it wasn't a friend of a friend, and it wasn't what Mr. Kerrick's been saying. This was done out of goodness of the person's heart. We couldn't use the staff because we were busy, so this company just turned out to be the shittest company in walking. It was not.
But nobody took Lyn's advice where Lyn had actually said about how to do this. Nobody, you know.
I think that was more about how to do the leaflets though, wasn't it? Everybody
No, Lyn said about the company that she used.
We thought we was getting a legit company delivering the leaflets.
But what diligence was actually done on that company?
Because
it's a company that appears online, it's got reviews, they've used it, it's failed, we're pursuing a refund. I don't think there's any more we can say about it. Things happen like that, you know.
All we were concerned about when we were told
The
it
money
was
will
written off.
be pursued. We can't say we're definitely going to get it back, you never can you? But as Andrew said, we're trying to get that money back.
But Donna, why did we pay the invoice
Ladies and gentlemen.
before the item were delivered? Surely an invoice, you've got 30 days to pay it.
Isn't it? You know, you order items, you pay for things beforehand.
Ladies and gents, I'm going to let Lyn ask one question, because something was said to Lyn, and then I'm going to move on.
I just wanted to actually say that company, when I saw the name, I thought, hang on a minute, that seems familiar. Where do I know that from? And I went and had a look, and I have a little pile of leaflets from leaflet drop companies that are there for me to try if the guy that I use ever lets me down or can't take the order. And sure enough, that leaflet, quite legitimately in my pile. So I could have been conned just as easily, to be fair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lyn. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Sorry, something about a point of order on the chat.
No, I'm just going to see if they're hiding in toilets anyone. See if I could get them out.
They are
There's only one there who's left his
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to move on now. So, item number 4, minutes to receive and approve the minutes of the meeting held on the 28th of September 2022.
I didn't even hear what it said.
Move them
Second.
before you sign it.
Come on, Jean.
No, I was told today, there'd been a message left on the floor today that it would want to come up tonight at the meeting.
Okay, item 5. Item 5, no licence application. Consider a licence application submitted to WMDC for new licensed premises in Hemsworth.
I think this is going to be a good thing for Hemsworth, mate. Straight after the family.
So,
I think it's just to make people aware.
people know there's the licence. I think it's the half of the old carpet shop.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's,
Yeah,
It's not been done properly.
yeah.
I think the reason it's on the agenda is that just to make people aware if they do want to, how they want to, if they do want to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Complain?
Complain, not complain.
Object.
Object.
Thank you, Lyn. If they want to object, then you go away to the town council's website.
So, item number 6, Hemsworth Water Park, invasive fish in the lakes. To consider the incidence of invasive fish in the lakes in the park. And I think we've also seen the photographs from the, is it a catfish that's, is it
It's not a catfish.
It's not a
catfish, a pie, whatever it is? So, anybody with any ideas or suggestions we should do?
We need to go through all of this, to tell you the truth, because, the law states that over a certain 65 centimetres, we're not allowed to touch them, bring them out of water. We need to get some fishermen in to get the babies out, and then those big ones will keep nature going. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So when we put no fish in, it will sustain that, where we're not having them.
So what was it basically?
We need to get the pie shacks out, in other words, really. We need to get the babies out, make sure that they're not going to keep reproducing and overtake that pet lake, or we're going to have no ducklings left. They'll eat ducklings and stuff like that.
Any ideas how we do that?
Why can't we ask local fishermen to come down?
Somebody already knows on Facebook and it was just ignored.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Especially
Got
stuff
down
with
there.
pay charge on Facebook, and it was ignored. It got turned down. I can't remember his name.
Oh,
He
really?
saw it as well.
When was this?
Yeah, I think so. I'll
I think we need to get Alan or Andrew to look in what the correct procedure is.
The correct procedure is we've got to do it by law, so like I said, if I think it's up 65 centimetres, we can't take them out. The babies without actually killing them, move them to somewhere else.
So, moving on, ladies and gents, to item 7. Sorry, Alan, it's here.
Clean your
That's what
glasses.
they're saying there.
For reading, not for
No,
listening.
you got on about the fishing. There's fishermen been down to try and do this, to look after what's down there and stop any of that, and they've been told to go away.
I'm not aware of that.
Well,
we can look into that.
Look into
But
it.
we also
because-
need to, we just can't have everybody sitting down trying to fish, we need to
No,
control.
they're not, they're
I'll
trying
tell
to
you what, if you
control
put Sam in
it.
charge, she'll get on
We need to
disappeared.
not mention staff,
Please.
please.
Three quadrants.
Ladies and gentlemen, a bit of order, please.
Hang on, well,
Excuse
that's
me.
my name.
No, it
No,
won't.
for a bit of order, please. Lynn?
There's a gentleman called Matthew Taylor on the live stream suggesting that the right way to do it is to get a company in and do it properly.
Yeah, well, we need to.
I'm assuming he's one of the local fishermen.
That's what we're saying, we're going to look at it properly.
Yeah, there's been proper people gone down to do it properly, and there's been somebody told them.
We need the local fishermen to tell us what we need to do.
Yes, they do, yeah.
It sounds
I'm
like
not a fisherman, but
That's what we're saying.
sounds like this guy's saying there's a company that can do it.
Okay.
There's somebody telling them that they've got to
We
go
get the
on.
company involved and then the company
That'll be
go out.
good, yeah.
Nobody like just gonna turn up at water park, have they?
Quick
They're
order,
told
please.
to not
Order, so we
to.
can move on. So, item 7, subject access requests.
2 received.
Thank you. And item 8, freedom of information requests.
What's that for?
Again, 2 freedom of information requests received.
can we actually
Right, thank you.
get these
These come off.
orders off, so you don't have to bring these?
I think we said that
ridiculous.
last time.
We said that last
So I
time.
think
and
what
said
we-
They're taken off. Alan can progress them. He just let us all as tool that
Yeah.
have been done.
So what?
I don't know why, we need to know. But
I think it's right, and Andrew can tell me, we progress them,
Yes.
and then we just report on them in the meeting, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
so they are progressed as quick as possible. Or
No, because I'm still waiting, and you've gone over my 21 days.
let me know that, please.
There might be another one as well. Councillor Melanie Jones. She's still waiting for one as well.
I've got mine in at the same time as Mel.
Yeah, it's over 21 days.
No, it's not officer, no, I don't think it is.
Could we ask Alan for an update on where we are with all outstanding requests? So how many are more than 21 days, how many are left?
That was my difficult of mine.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the meeting. And thank you all for attending.
Ah. So we don't want to bring that up, but
Right, I'm freedom of
What?
Do you think he had a key? No,
Yeah, I do. You either all or you got me, you know, you send one person, do you? Face
Right, that's it.
Well,